Hey everybody, it's Ryan Haggerty. I'm here with John from the Wretched Edsels. How are you, John?
Oh, really good, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Very excited to have you on because I have a few questions for you.
Cool.
Also, that you got up super early in LA to come and spend some time with us, and there is nothing that I like to show my gratitude for than other people's time.
All right, no problem. No problem at all.
So I listened to your EP.
Yeah,
Um, Dude, I mean, it's fucking fantastic.
thanks.
Um, Not only a great cinematic surf style, like which seems
Yeah,
to encompass all of it in all the different subgenres in one.
great.
Um, but the vocal track
Mm,
was a surprise for me. Even though I read there was little vocals, when I got
yeah,
right in my head that scene from Dark City with Jennifer Connelly singing Sway.
yeah.
That song took me right there, and I
Oh,
don't know
that's great.
if that was your intent, but
No,
I
no.
love that music, like
Yeah.
that era and that style. And before we go into the surf stuff, tell me about that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's mostly an instrumental band, but when we got it going, my bass player Doug, our bass player Doug said, hey, my wife sings. And when you're a musician, you hear that, you think, oh, really? Does your wife sing? And it turns out she can sing, man. I mean, Deb is just fantastic. Great voice, great style. So, I've been in pop bands and written that kind of stuff before anyway. And I thought that's great. It gives me an outlet to do that every once in a while. So I came up with that, and music always comes first, and the lyrics. I try not to. I'm not big on writing lyrics. It's not the thing I enjoy the most, but I try and do something halfway decent when I have to. And that just came to me. Actually, the title came first because I was thinking of it as slightly Spanish, and somebody else said, or actually, it was the reverse. Somebody said it sounded slightly Spanish, the melody, and I was thinking it was a little more Eastern, and Um, so I think I said, "Oh, okay, great, a Turk in Seville," and that's all. It doesn't mean that much, but that's how the song came about.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, do you know who Pink Martini is?
Yeah.
So also, like China Forbes vibe as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she is really fantastic. She is
Yeah.
really something else. Deb, I mean. Um,
Mhm.
so all right, let's start with the Wretched Edsels EP. You also have a single, which is on the EP.
Yeah, exactly. The single that I put out a digital single with a free download just to get things rolling back in November, I guess. But the EP is really the first thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, what was that the culmination of? Like, when did you start and finish and realize you have a full project on tap?
Yeah, we first started getting together quite a while ago, actually. And we're all old guys. People had health problems, and so we started to be able to focus. Middle towards the end of last year. Our drummer Hunter has a studio, so it's super easy to just go in and record pretty much any time. And I wanted to get something out. We were starting to gig. Um, we did some little thing last year, but really February is when we were starting to gig. And I just wanted something extra to have online to be able to sell at the shows. Um, so we just put the four songs that seemed to fit together and put that thing out. And I mean these days it's so easy to get a
Yeah,
EP or an album or anything going, as long as you stay away from vinyl, which takes more time.
yeah,
It's, I mean, in a month you can have product. So big difference from when I first started,
yeah.
40 years ago.
So that recording, your friend Hunter,
Yeah,
it it's really well mixed and recorded.
yeah.
Tell me about that process. Was it a full band effort, like all in the studio at one time, or
No, I would prefer that. His studio is a basement studio. It gets a little crowded. And the best way to go about it turns out to be drums and one other instrument. Actually, we were all down there. We were all playing, but not everything kind of got recorded and survived. Uh, on this next project might be a little different. On this one, it's the guitar that didn't survive. So we ended up with bass and drum tracks out of those initial sessions. And then I have not really a studio, but I have enough of a setup here at my house so that I can do the guitars. And that's the way that went. But Hunter's Place is wonderful. You know, you're talking about the sound
Yeah.
of the thing, and you know, yeah, it's a basement studio, all one room, but he has just an incredible selection of old outboard gear,
Wow.
you know, tube and kind of later 70s solid state stuff. I mean, you know, if you want something to sound like it came out of Abbey Road, he has that stuff. If you want it to sound like it came out of wherever, you know, he has an example of the preamps and compressors and all that stuff that they used.
Wow.
So you get a great sound out of that. And you know, for the production, I credited both of us because I'm kind of building the songs a little bit more, although everybody pitches in. But really, in terms of the sound of the thing, it's all Hunter. He just really nailed it.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, in LA, I know, I mean,
Mm.
you have the beach towns all the way,
Yeah.
all the way from Orange County to primarily where you are.
Yeah.
Where do you find, um, where do you find the greatest concentration of surf fans at the moment?
They're actually, from what I know, there's everybody's spread all over the place. In fact, we're doing a gig in a couple of weeks or almost a month with one of the bands is from the Inland Empire, which for people not from LA, that's way inland. I mean, almost to the desert. So there are bands out there. There's us, you know, we're not really near the beach here. There are some, you know, West Side bands closer to the beach. The Insect Surfers, I think, are basically like Culver City. So that's getting over to the beach. But people, the bands are spread all over the place. The gigs, on the other hand, tend to cluster in Long Beach.
I
It's
wonder
just kind
why.
of developed. It's really developed there. You know, everybody knows Jeff Hanson, who puts on a lot of shows, and they tend to be kind of down there. He puts on shows in Huntington Beach. You know, we just played in San Pedro, which is also on the water. For people who don't know, it's the harbor area of LA. So the gigs tend to kind of clustered down there. That's sort of for people who don't know LA, that's sort of south and towards the water. But they're everywhere. We're playing in downtown LA in a few weeks. The gig I just mentioned. We're playing in Pasadena, South Pasadena, actually, you know, just after that. So the stuff goes on everywhere.
Awesome, awesome. Now,
Yeah.
I came out a couple of years ago, to the SG 101
Mm.
convention,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was, I mean, like if you've never been on the East Coast, like that is like living on another planet when you go out there. Like
Oh, really?
it's all music, it's all like I don't know, it's just an artsy feeling, and I really am drawn to that. You know, I
Mhm.
listen to music from the time I wake up until the time I go to bed. You know,
Yeah.
all different types, and I'm sure a lot of us that are having this conversation with each other are the same way.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so when I'm out there, it's like, okay, now this is it. This is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, so tell me, which beach town, uh, Orange County do you like to play in the most? Huntington Beach is I like to see the Huntington Beach pier shows. I have yet to
Yeah.
be.
The peer.
I liked watching them.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to do one of those shows this summer, and I'm really looking forward to that. We're a super new band, and the bands I was in before were different genres. So, you know, I'm just getting into these surf shows in terms of playing them.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about doing the Huntington Beach Pier show. It'll be way in September for us, but those start, you know, Jeff takes care of those shows. Um, and yeah, you know, we our first real gig was in Long Beach, and turned out to be great. Big crowd. It didn't hurt that we were playing with some kind of old time, very well known bands, although not surf bands. We just played at the Sardine in San Pedro, which is sort of a club. Do you know the Sardine? Did you get there when you were out
No,
here? It's
I,
sort
I
of dedicated.
go ahead.
It's in Pedro, and it's kind of dedicated to the Minutemen. They're
Oh,
they're
nice.
they're they're Minutemen photos everywhere, and when you're playing under a big photo of D Boon.
Yeah.
So that's really fun. But yeah, we're looking forward to playing everywhere. I mean, you know, there are clubs in downtown LA that are really fun to play at. Um, and yeah, I mean, anywhere is good as far as we're concerned.
Now I see I'm not a holy Gibson man, but my uncle lent me this. He said I'm not giving it to you, but
Yeah.
I'll let you borrow it.
Is
Uh,
that a 68 or
71.
71? Okay.
And that's my little
So
dinky
those are
next
nice.
to it. But I
Well,
see,
you're seeing, so that's a mirror.
yeah,
And the Les Paul is usually not up there, but my Jazz Master is getting worked on, and I hate to have an empty space on the wall,
I
so I put
understand.
that up there. I'm generally I use the Fender. I'm going to turn so you can see that the Strat is my main guitar,
Okay.
but I kind of because I have other projects too that I do that are you know more kind of pop. I kind of just keep everything out that I have room for. You know, so there's a Gretsch over there and a 335. It's just to keep them handy. But for the surf stuff, it's definitely Fender. I'm an old fashioned guy in that respect. Fender. Our other guitars, Jerry uses an SG though.
Oh, very,
Yeah.
can I
And if you've
see,
seen,
can I see your
it's
snap?
allergy season out here. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and if you've seen Insect Surfers, Dave always plays an SG.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So people vary it.
So can you take that Strat down? Show us your Strat?
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it's nothing too
uh,
special. It started life as a oh, what do they call it? It's just a production line model, but it was the top of the line. I think a deluxe.
okay.
Um, and they came, and I really loved the neck, but they came with noiseless pickups, which means basically they're humbuckers made to supposedly sound like Strat pickups.
Yeah.
So I replaced, and they were okay, but I replaced all the electronics with Lindy Fralin pickups. Actually what you can do is order the whole pick guard loaded.
Oh, nice.
So all of this is, and that just took it to a next level. They're beautiful pickups. So that became the main guitar. And then my kind of second in command is a Jazz Master, and the same tech is working on that. Again, Fralin pickups are gonna go in that. And it's not here right now. But yeah, this guy's really nice.
Who's the tech?
It's a guy named Mars. It's not, here in LA. Here in LA, you can go to the guy who does guitar, the guy who does Joe Bonamassa's guitar, you can get caught up in that kind of stuff. And I saw this guy, frankly, just on Yelp, and he was close. And I thought, well, he's not going to screw the guitar up too bad. I'll let him, install this pick guard. What's the big deal? And he did just a fantastic job. And he doesn't just install. I mean, he goes over everything. The guitars come back looking like they're brand new. And just beautiful setup. I don't think I've had better intonation all the way up and down the neck than this guy. So, if anybody's out here, Mars, Marzz is what he goes by. He's fantastic.
Awesome. Awesome. So you're a fairly new band, but
Yeah.
the songs the songs have a classic classic, like I said, cinematic sound.
Yeah, great.
Um, and to me, it sounds like you have a long road ahead of you, like in a good way, in a good way.
Yeah,
Like you have a long way to go with this because it's gonna. I think you guys are gonna have a lot of fun, and people are gonna have a lot of fun listening to you.
yeah.
So what are some of your aspirations for the rest of the year? So let's start with the summer.
Yeah, right now it's just you know, getting more gigs and recording. We have plenty of material, so I think probably in a couple weeks, you know, Hunter and I will go back in the studio and start to get basic tracks done for an album. Um, and we'll do that later. And then we have a few shows coming up in April. We've got something actually, this is a worthwhile plug. We're doing something the Monday after SG 101. Because I know some people, you know, people come out for SG 101 and some people stay, and some people stay all the way through the following weekend and go to Tiki Oasis in San Diego.
Yeah,
So on that Monday following, we're going to be doing a gig in Long Beach, so it's convenient. Um, we have the Huntington Beach Pier show and just setting up some other stuff too. So yeah, so for the year, we're looking at gigging and more recording.
that sounds
And
great.
hopefully, I'm hoping to have a full album out at the end of the year or beginning of next year.
Are you gonna get that one printed at all?
Sorry?
Are you gonna get that one printed?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's nice to have something physical to, you know, to actually, you know, carry around to gigs. And yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of like it, you know.
yeah.
Um, and people are bought, you know, for the EP, I think on Bandcamp, of course we don't sell very many, but um, I think we've sold more physical CDs than digital.
Oh wow.
Um, even though, you know, people have to pay extra for the shipping. So I think people still do sometimes want that, you know, and if they don't, they can buy the download. That's cool too.
Very cool. Very cool. Is
If it didn't take, if it wasn't such a hassle, I would love to do vinyl,
it
you
just
know,
takes so
but
long.
it takes a long time, and I'm told it's getting better. You know, I guess it was really bad for a while there,
Yeah.
because one of the main vinyl plants burned down or something.
I think it's in Ohio.
Um,
Right? Was it Ohio?
yeah, yeah, I can't
Somewhere in the
remember, but
Midwest.
it's like all of a sudden, yeah, it's like all of a sudden, you know, it took a year and a half. Um, but yeah, you know, still, I'm impatient. I don't like to wait.
Yeah.
So, you know, the CD's fine. You can get those back in, like I said, a month, 3 weeks, and be ready to go.
Wow. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right,
Hmm.
John, it was really a pleasure talking to you, getting this new season off to a good start. Listening to the Wretched Edsels, and I suggest everybody do the same. You can get them on all streaming platforms, but I will have a link in the
Yeah.
description to their Bandcamp site where you can find out just a little bit more about the band and get a CD or a digital copy or both.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Absolutely. We're on, you know, the usual Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff.
welcome to the fold, John.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. This was a pleasure.